I'm Ron Corning for Howdini.com, and here's a likely scenario. You're bringing a new cat home, but you already have another pet or maybe even pets in the household. How do you make sure everyone can just get along? Well, Dr. Katherine Miller is an animal behaviorist here at the ASPCA, and she's joining us with some tips on how to make everything go smoothly. So step one, Dr. Miller, even before you introduce a new cat into the household, is what?
Is to consider whether your existing pets have lived with another cat before. That's always an important indicator in whether things will go well or not. Cats develop social skills just like we do. Many of them are learned. And if they've never lived with another cat before, they're ensconced in your home for 10 years, there's less chance that they're going to be very welcoming and very adept at welcoming a newcomer than if they recently lost a longtime companion and have the social skills and are used to sharing their home.
Right out of the gate, people are going to assume that if you're bringing a cat home to meet another cat, that everything's going to be much better than if it's a cat and a dog. That may not always be the case.
That's true. Sometimes cats and dogs can get along better than cats and cats. It might become as a surprise to some people. Again, the type of dog that you have at home and whether they've had experience with cats before will give you some information about how you can expect things are going to go. Some breeds of dogs, like terriers, were bred to chase small running animals. There's less likelihood that it'll be a smooth transition for your new cat, and it might be more of a supervisory situation for the pet adopter. If you have an older, mellow dog who's lived with cats before and thinks that they're no big deal, it's going to be a lot easier to bring a new cat in.
Now, there's also the possibility that if they are adopting a cat, say from the ASPCA, you can do sort of a dog or cat test. Many of these cats here live with other cats. But there are situations where someone can kind of see before they ever take the cat home if they have a good temperament or not, or a good disposition with other dogs.
That's right. When you're still looking at cats in a shelter or meeting a new cat that you're considering adopting, it is possible to get a bit of an indication of how accepting they are of a cat or a dog. You can test them in a very controlled, safe situation by keeping a barrier between the animals. But bringing a cat up to the cat that you're considering adopting and looking at their reaction. If it's immediately a very strong, aggressive reaction, that's probably not going to be a good match for a home with a cat. Whereas if a cat comes up and tries to rub or chirps, it makes a little chirping sound that's a greeting for cats, that might be a better indicator that this cat is going to accept living with another cat.
One final point here, and that is just because you bring a new animal into the household and things aren't going well those first few days, that's not to say it won't eventually. And there are specific steps you can take to begin that process along. Give us some examples.
Well, when you first take a new pet home, whether it's a cat or a dog, it's really important to take the transition very slowly. They're going to feel very overwhelmed. The house is new, the people are new, they don't know why they're there or how long they're going to be there. And on top of that, you're asking them to meet all these new animals as well. So it's better to keep the newcomer isolated in a room by itself. He gets comfortable in the new room, it becomes his territory, and as he comes out of his shell, very gradually gets used to the idea that there are other animals outside of that door. So it's important to keep the door shut at first and gauge the animal's reaction to hearing and smelling the other animal before actually seeing them. Because remember, cats and dogs have an incredibly good sense of smell and hearing. So they will know the other animal's there even if they can't see it. Sometimes in a small house or an apartment, you need to be a little creative. You can use a baby gate. You can use a crate for keeping a dog, buy a big one and keep the cat in it. They sell catteries that have multiple levels. The cat has a lot of room, but again is enclosed. So it does sometimes take some creativity, but it's always possible if you use your head and think ahead and plan ahead before you bring the cat home so that you're not scrambling to get equipment at the last minute.
Some practical good advice. We appreciate it, Dr. Miller. And I'm Ron Corning for Howdini.com.